It's Kiss right here on the Classic Metal Show from the Hot and the Shade release. That is The Street Giveth and the Street Taketh Away.
Right.
And speaking of being taken away.
Yes.
Apparently, former Kiss guitarist Ace Frehley's home is in foreclosure.
What?
Former Kiss guitarist Ace Frehley's home is in foreclosure.
How can it be in foreclosure when he's charging $500 a signature?
Well, my question is after the Kiss reunion, I realize that it's been 10 years already since he was in that lineup.
Yeah.
Don't you think he would have made bank during that time he participated?
But you got to wonder if he bought the house after.
Yeah, but regardless, don't you think there would be some planning on the part of these aging rock stars that, listen, I just made bank, I made my retirement score, I need to take care of it wisely?
No.
Why
would you think that?
Well, I guess that's just me thinking clearly.
Of all the rock stars that you know, do you know 5 that would do that?
Well, I know Don's really good about his money.
He's one.
Because he still has the money from the Don Dokken project from the Geffen Records.
Right. And that's his nest egg.
Yeah.
Of course.
Plus, during the satellite boom of the early 90s,
yeah,
he invested heavily into Qualcomm.
Oh, really?
Yes, he did, and he made money on the Qualcomm stock.
Meanwhile, others in his band have to fucking play in 3 bands a night to fucking make enough to float to the next city.
Sure.
So, you know, I mean, look, I'm not picking on Mick Brown, but my God.
Yeah.
Who has more money, me or Mick Brown?
You.
Yeah, and Mick certainly has earned a lot more money than me.
Sure.
You know, so, you know, there's saying something like, oh, rock stars get that second chance and they're going to fucking do good with it? No chance.
Well, look at George Lynch. That guy should have a lot of money.
Should have a ton of money.
But he lives in a trailer out in the desert.
Yeah, and that guy had 2 successful bands. 2 monumental. I mean, Lynch Mob was a big band.
Yeah, they were
80s.
You know. I don't know, man. It's just hard to imagine where all that money goes.
Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. Not if you've ever been on the bus. It's really not.
Sure.
You know as well as I do where it goes. It goes into whores and it goes into fucking booze and drugs.
Right.
That's where it all goes.
Well, getting back to Ace Frehley.
Speaking of whores, booze, and drugs.
Ernie Garcia of Lowhud.com.
Guilty.
Lowhud?
Lowhud.
I never heard of it.
Me either.
Reports that a bank is accusing former Kiss guitarist Ace Frehley of, what do you mean they're accusing him? Of not paying the mortgage on his Yorktown home for almost 2 years.
Oops.
How do you accuse them? It's like, well, we were looking at the records. We don't see a payment. We're accusing you of not making the payment.
You didn't pay your rent.
U.S. Bank National Association claims that the rock star, whose real name is Paul Frehley,
right,
stopped paying his $735,000 mortgage March 1st of 2011.
Jeez. How do you go for 2 years?
That's a good question.
How do they not throw him out for 2 years?
Good lawyer.
Yeah, maybe I need to get a better lawyer. Stop paying mine.
Yeah, in its February 15th foreclosure filing, the bank asked the court to order a sale of the home to pay for the outstanding principal of $703,581.48.
Wow.
Plus interest, late charges, and other expenses.
Yeah. Dude, what do you want to bet that this guy fucking files bankruptcy and keeps the house?
Probably.
He's got to.
Yeah.
How would you not at this point? Just file bankruptcy, keep the house, and pay him $2,000 a month or whatever.
You know, and again, why do these guys need to buy $1 million house?
I don't know. Because he's Ace Frehley, man.
I guess. It's just stupid, though.
The guy's supposed to be living on another planet. He's got to live at least in a big home.
Well, you know who I admire when it comes to the way to live in realizing that that you don't need a big mansion and a fancy car.
Chris Holmes?
Well, he lives in a tool shed from what we understand anyway, right?
Yeah.
Where did you hear that?
Some interview or something. There was some interview where he talked about it.
He lives in a tool shed in somebody's backyard.
That's what I heard.
Wow.
I have no way to validate that, so don't take it as fact.
I'm not taking it as fact. I said, where'd you hear it?
I heard it on some interview out there. Somebody was bashing Chris Holmes and say he lived in a tool shed somewhere, and after seeing that video, I don't necessarily doubt it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Lemmy.
Uh-huh.
I saw an interview with him, one time, and people were asking him, what is the secret to the longevity of Motorhead? And he said, not stopping doing it.
Yeah.
That's the secret.
That's funny.
And they said, well, have you made a lot of money with Motorhead? He says, yeah, I made money to make a comfortable living. He says, I don't have a big house or a flashy car. He says, how many rooms can you live in at any one time?
Yeah. Well, you saw the Lemmy documentary, right?
Yes.
Where they toured his house.
Yeah.
His house is not big. It's just
it's an apartment.
Yeah, it's a regular size. It's not some big thing. And boy, he has it jammed with junk, though.
Sure.
He's like a hoarder.
Right. But, I always like his words, though. How many rooms can you live in at any one time?
Yeah, well, I think because he talks a little slow, people think that he's slow. He's not slow.
No.
He's a very wise person.
Yeah, he's been around, and, he doesn't go out there and, he says, I got a couple $100 in my pocket. He says, I can afford to, some drinks and, so a nice meal now and again. And he says, what more do you need?
Yeah, and he's right about that, really.
I agree with it.
I agree with it, too.
So, anyway, well, good luck to you there, Ace.
Yeah, maybe you could move into the silver spacecraft.
Right. That would be the perfect place for you. Besides, it's got all your memorabilia in there.
Yeah, you play your own pinball machine.
Sure.
Play your own signature guitars, I'm sure.
If you were really smart about it, Ace, you could probably, try to get a royalty off of everything that has your likeness on it.
Yeah. Don't you think that John Ostronomy has a condom with Ace's face painted on the tip? Honestly, I'll bet he does. I'd bet anything that he does.
Nice.
He just fucking puts it on and strokes it.
Sure.
Oh, Ace.
Right.
Oh, Ace.
Right.
Fucking queer.
Well, we're gonna do some talking metal later in the show.
Oh yeah, that's coming shortly.
Right. So, what else you got on the plate there, Mr. Aiken?
Oh, I don't know. You want to hear about my run of the strip club last night?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's right. You did go out last night, and you did mention you went to a strip club. Okay,
I did.
So no drinking.
No drinking
You
at
went
all,
out,
man.
You went out with your friends.
Yeah, I went out with Stephanie and my friend Adam.
And you actually stayed out all night and didn't even get home till early this morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Now tell me you couldn't get away with that when you were married.
Hell no.
All right.
I never went out when I was married.
Sure.
So no, definitely being out until I got home at 11:30 this morning.
Right?
No, that would not be happening. But yeah, no, we went out. Stephanie was up here from Lima, so we made a plan to go out, and her dude, whatever, John, was out of town.
Okay.
So she just came up to hang with me, more or less.
Sure.
Me and Adam. So we decided we would go out. We went over. You're gonna love this, dude. The worst thing that these bars have ever put in their place is these touch tunes.
Why is that the worst? I thought that was pretty slick. Hitty stuff, and people
Exactly.
like, what are you playing this for?
Exactly.
It's just like reading a Mark Nero email in the middle of a bar.
It really is. So we are in this little bar last night called Foster's. Okay, and when I say little, it is, I would say at best seats maybe 20 people.
Okay.
I mean, it's a hole-in-the-wall bar. It's right next to where John and Adam live.
Okay. How far? What town is that?
Hinckley.
Oh, it's in Hinckley, the
Yeah.
home of the Buzzards.
Yeah. the home of the buzzards, and there's nothing going on in Hinckley.
Sure.
But we're out there, we go to this bar, and when we get into the bar, there's this dude and this chick that are just a little awkwardly all over each other type of a thing, not making out or nothing, but you know when the chick fucking puts like one leg on the dude's lap, and you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's the typical get a room situation.
It's like, I'm gonna fuck this guy, but we're out now.
Right.
Move. So they're out, and then the guy gets up, and this guy is wearing this shirt that looks like a fucking picture that you took in the middle of a rainstorm. It just looks like a fucking cloud, like a cloudy day. It's a fucking terrible shirt.
All right.
And it just, to be honest, it made me crazy seeing this fucking fairy shirt.
Nice.
So,
do you think she bought it for him?
Probably. Had to be.
Okay, so it was one of those chicks buying you something and you wear it just to...
Wear it so you can get the pussy.
Right.
Bingo. So he's wearing this fag shirt, and he gets up. We just get in to the place, and he gets up and he starts loading the Touch Tunes machine. And you know me, I'm a rock guy, and Steph is a rock chick.
Now what does it cost for a tune?
About $1.
$1 a tune?
Roughly.
Really? Wow.
Well, it's probably a little cheaper than that, but I know for the tune that I ended up playing, it cost me like $1.50.
Really?
Well, it's because I pushed the button so that it would jump every tune. Because I'm a dick like that.
Sure.
So this guy starts queuing up all this music, and it's just shit. It's just fucking bad hillbilly country song after bad hillbilly country song. And we're all sitting there, and then it turns into like Gangnam Style and shit. And it's like, oh, we're just ready to fucking leave.
Right.
And the chick that was fucking hugging up on this guy's nuts fucking comes walking over and gives Steph, you got a picture, we're sitting at like a bar. There's a bar and then there's a table. We're sitting at the table because the bar's all taken.
Well, what was the attraction to go into this place to begin with?
It was right next door to where they live.
Okay, so it was just walking.
Just to get a drink.
Yeah, just walking distance. You just walk over there.
Walk over, get a drink or two. They were going to get their buzz on, and then we were going to figure out what we were going to do.
All right.
So we go over and they get drinks, and I'm drinking Coke, and these bad songs are playing one after the other, and we're just like, oh, this fucking sucks. And the girl, like, again, there's the bar, and then there's like a rail, and then there's a set of tables next to the rail.
Okay.
There's like a rail that separates the bar from the tables. And the girl that's with the dude comes over and gives Stephanie a big hug and says, see, we're playing all the good stuff tonight.
Well, does she know her, or is she just trying to be social and going over and say, yeah, girl, since we're the only two girls in here, we'll show these guys what the good songs are.
Pretty much.
So because you're a girl, they just assume that you would enjoy the same music.
The same shitty music.
Okay, all right, I gotcha.
And Steph actually got shitty with her. She's like, I'd rather hear some rock.
Right.
So I said, here, somebody give me $1. So they give me a couple of bucks. And I go up to the machine, and I'm like, I'm going to make this as... And you got to keep in mind, this is a small fucking redneck bar.
Right. It's just like a hallway.
Yeah. And I go and I fucking start doing my searches on the machine. And I am dangerous with these machines because I know every fucking wrong song to play.
Sure.
Because I have the fucking musicologist knowledge. So
well, wait a minute. You're not the metal madman. You don't know anything about music.
You're right, Mark. You're right. But I go ahead and I queue up NWA's Just Don't Bite It.
Okay.
Now, are you familiar with this song at all?
It's been so many years. I mean, literally. I bet you I haven't heard that in 15 years.
Well, the song starts out with a spoken word intro on the art of sucking dick.
Right.
Followed by just... You want to hear a little?
Sure.
I got it right
here. If you got it right there.
Right here.
Play it up.
All right, here we go. This is Just Don't Bite It by NWA. I'll play a little bit.
damn. I lick my balls. All right. God.
You like that?
Put the motherfucker.
Is it good?
Damn. Oh, shit. God damn, bitch, you bit my... Damn. Shit, I said suck the motherfucker. You biting it. Shit.
Has this ever happened to you? Does her teeth get in the way while she's sucking your dick? Does she know how to suck a dick? Well, I had that same problem until my bitch went out and bought NWA's new book entitled The Art of Sucking Dick.
Lesson 1. First, you grab the dick. Next, you gently lick it up and down. Then, insert it into the mouth. Take it slow. Don't rush it. And before you know it, splash.
It goes 1 for the treble, 2 for the bass. She's got nut all over her face.
Anyway.
Nice. So you're playing this in a hillbilly redneck bar, and I'm sure, just the fact that it's a rappy beat alone is enough to send any redneck over the cliff.
Just the whole thing about you're biting that shit.
Right.
Dude, fucking, I come back to the thing, and whatever song is finishing up playing, and I said to both of them, I said, you guys might want to drink up. You might want to leave now. And they're like, how bad can it be, right?
Okay.
And then this thing starts playing. These two are mortified.
I'm sure they are.
As is all the waitresses in the bar and every one of these rednecks at the bar.
Right.
They are giving me the fucking look of death.
Right.
and I'm sitting right there going, I like this tune.
Bartender, female or male?
Female.
Okay. Now, do you think it would have been inappropriate, barring your desire to play this just to offend?
Yeah.
If the bartender says, all right, we're going to have to eject this and I'll give you your money back.
Oh, she could have done that.
That's my point. But had that, say, taken place,
Yeah.
what would your reaction have been?
I'd have laughed.
Okay.
It would have been fine.
Okay.
I already made my point.
All right, go ahead.
I made my point of this chick. My point was this chick came at us with the fucking bad music thing, trying to make a point like she was fucking running the place.
Sure.
So I shut it fucking down. So we did that, and needless to say, after that song played, it was like, hurry up and drink your drinks. We're getting the fuck out of here. Because they can't, me, I don't give a fuck. But Steph and Adam did not like the uncomfortable.
Sure.
This just happened from my table.
We don't know him.
Yeah, exactly. And me, I'm proud as fuck. Yeah, I played it. Goddamn right.
Nice.
So we decided, we were talking, and this is the three of us was the same crew that went to the fucking landing strip in Lima.
Okay.
So we just decided we were going to give it another try, to go and find another strip club.
All right.
And, Steph was a little bit lubed up, and she's like all fucking, yeah, let's go look at some boobs. Let's go look at some titties. I'm like, all right, good. I'm in.
All right. So how far of a drive from Hinckley, Ohio is it to the nearest strip club or wherever it is you ended up landing?
Not far, maybe 5 miles.
Okay.
There's like whatever that next is, the next town, Brunswick or Strongsville or whatever.
Yeah. Well, Strongsville's like way out west.
All right, so it was probably Brunswick.
Brunswick.
We just went up and we went to Christie's Cabaret.
Okay. Sounds like a classy joint.
Yeah, well, okay.
Sounds very classy. Anything with the name Cabaret.
Yeah.
As our good friend Jeff Tate would say.
Yeah, well, Jeff Tate was the inspiration to go there.
Okay.
So we go to this place, okay? And we go in, and it's like a $7 cover charge or something. So I just pay it. I give them a credit card, I pay it.
You paid a credit card for a cover charge?
Yeah, why not?
Really? Wow.
Well, it's $21, 3 of us.
Yeah, I know, but I just find it weird that you whip out a credit card at the door.
Why?
I don't know. It's just odd to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just...
I don't carry cash very often. I did have cash last night, but I wanted to keep the cash for the chicks.
Right.
So I was just going to pay with a card.
Sure.
So I pay the money. And this will come back to play in a minute. So
okay.
Just remember that I paid $21 with my credit card.
Sure. And what does that include? Just the admission, or do you get
you don't get a drink
or nothing?
No. Just the admission, just the privilege to see these girls. So we go in. I pay for it. We go in, go grab a seat. We sit down kind of like in the middle of the stage, but not up front at the stage. Like one, like, you know how they set up these stages where there's chairs where you can sit up and have the girl fucking grabbing her snail and fucking rubbing it in your face and whatnot.
Grabbing her snail?
You know what I'm talking about. You think they spell it out more than that?
I know exactly what you're saying, but I don't think I've ever heard that verbiage before, grabbing her snail.
Well, that's what she's doing.
Yeah, I get it. But go ahead.
We didn't want to sit there, so we sat, back a row. And as we're sitting there and, we're quickly noticing two things. One, this club should be called the A Cup Cabaret.
Oh, and I'm going to interrupt you just right there.
Yeah.
Years ago, when I still lived in Akron, and me and my girlfriend at the time broke up.
Yeah.
Long-haired Mike, one of my former co-hosts on the Classic Metal Show, was seeing a girl, and he broke up with her the same week.
Okay.
So he was all down and depressed and everything. And he's like, he comes to the house. He's like, dude, I really got to get out of the house. I'm just driving myself crazy, going up climbing the walls. I need to get out. Let's go do something. Let's go have some fun.
Right.
I said, so what do you want to do? He goes, yeah, let's go down to a place. I think it was called the Music Box.
Okay.
And I said, yeah, let's go. So we hop in the car and go.
Yeah.
Went in there. Every chick in there, zero boobs.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell?
I was just like, these chicks have no boobs. Not a one of them had any cleavage. It was like watching, 10-year-old boys.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, I felt like Jerry Sandusky in there.
It was bizarre. I never went into, I haven't been in that many strip clubs, but I had never seen so many flat-chested girls in my life.
Yeah, and that's what it was last night. Just a parade of fucking bad boobs.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
It was just not good. So we're in there, and I'm disgusted.
It's just like, there's no curviness to any of these girls.
I want to see some tits.
Right.
I want to see something good, So the waitress comes over to take our order for our drinks. Okay, and we order a round of drinks. Stephanie gets a beer, and AJ gets a Coke, and he gets like a Jack and Coke, and I just get a Coke.
Right.
And Adam's going to pay for the drink, so he gives her a credit card to pay for the drinks. She comes back and says, just want to give you a heads up, if you use your credit card, we're going to put a $200 hold on your card.
Okay.
I was like, a $200 hold? And Adam's like, fuck that. That's steep, dude.
Yeah.
200? I get $1 or 20 or 50 or something, but 200?
Yeah, they must have gotten stiffed or something.
Yeah, but so instantly though, my brain goes, well, wait a minute. I used my credit card to get into this fucking joint.
Sure.
Do I have a $200 hold on my card?
Right.
No. That's outside. And I'm like, all right, this is fucking bullshit now. Now I'm trying to figure out their game because it's bullshit.
Yeah, I agree.
If there's no $200 hold to come in, then I sell credit card processing. And I guarantee you they don't have two accounts, one for the door and one for the fucking room.
Right.
I guarantee you they have one account that processes it all, so there's no filter on there.
Sure.
So it's just them making up some shit because they don't want to run a card.
Right.
And I'm like, whatever. So I was the only one that had cash, so I fucking come out my pocket another 20 for fucking drinks.
Right.
Okay, whatever. Is what it is. So we get our drinks, and we're just sitting there watching the lack of talent that's on the stage. And, this girl, that girl. And I will admit one thing. They had one girl that was fucking amazing. She was doing some shit with a light-up hula hoop.
Okay.
And, dude, they had a pole in the middle of the dance floor, obviously. But this pole had to be 25, 30 feet up.
Yeah, it's just like being at the Platinum Horse.
But it's giant, and all these girls were climbing all the way to the
way
top
up.
and fucking hanging upside down and then just dropping.
Well, you remember me telling the story about the stripper.
Yeah.
But that's what she did. She would shimmy up that pole, and she'd be way up in the rafters.
Yeah.
And hanging by her ankles.
Yeah, and that's what this was. But this one girl, she's up there with a fucking light-up hula hoop, and she's fucking doing tricks through the hula hoop. And I was like, wow, she's impressive. Too bad she looks like a little boy.
Well, did she look like she was having fun?
No.
See, that's the thing. That stripper story I told,
Yeah.
that girl actually looked like she was having a blast.
Yeah, no, this girl did not look like. None of these girls looked like they were having fun.
They just have the dead eyes.
Yeah, just fucking. Most of them are probably stoned,
Right.
you know, and they're just fucking. All right, I'll take your money. So, you since you're not a strip club guy, and I'm really not a strip club guy, I wasn't ready for what was next to me.
Okay.
And I didn't realize this until we had been there 10 or 15 minutes. And what there was there was 4 dudes next to us. And I don't know if they were having a bachelor party or they were just fucking monumental douche nozzles or what.
Okay.
But these guys were so fucking annoying that I was literally getting mad.
All right.
And there was one guy in particular, I'll call him Cocksucker.
Okay.
And Cocksucker was doing this thing where he was holding his money and he's just flipping it out at the fucking stage.
Oh, all right.
You know, he's walking back and forth in front of us and in front of the tables. And he's like he's he's pretending like he's so fucking wealthy.
Oh, yeah, so he's just he's passing the money out on the stage like he's like the king,
Yeah,
throwing money to the serfs, you know?
Throwing it to the slave girl.
Right.
Hey, bitch. Here's 3. Here's 4. And it's like, you're a fucking idiot. And he keeps walking back and forth and fucking standing and stopping in front of our table and whatnot. And just being a dick.
Right.
And I'm immediately getting annoyed. You know, because A, I'm not drinking and I'm in a bar. B, I'm looking at bad, ugly women in a fucking strip club. And C, I'm watching this fucking dickhead who I would guarantee you I make more money than trying to fucking pretend like he's rich guy.
Sure.
You know, fucking backwards hat fucking douche nozzle.
Right.
So this fucking guy keeps going and going and going and going. Right? And just being more annoying by the minute. And then he decides that he's going to get up and put his hands on Stephanie and get in her face.
For
no reason. Because he's drunk.
Okay.
And you know I immediately am not fucking having that.
No, of course not.
You know, I immediately start to get up and Steph fucking says, nah, get the fuck out of my face, motherfucker.
Right.
She's fucking hardcore too.
Right.
She fucking shoos him away before I hit him. But I was, you know, I'm ready to fucking throw. And so needless to say, I'm in a bad mood now. I'm just not in the best mood being at this strip club. And there's no talent to fucking take my mood off it, right?
Right.
So fine, we're going, you know, we're still there and we're watching different chicks and we're just shooting the shit and whatnot. And I'm clearly annoyed, but I'm trying to deal with it. And we run out of drinks. Well, again, I'm the only one that has any money. You know, any cash money on
Sure.
me. Any money, but any cash. So I shoo the fucking, or I wave down the waitress. And I'm like, you know what? I want to keep the money in case one of these girls turns out to be okay.
Is that really what you said?
I really did. I wanted to keep the cash.
I want to keep the cash in case one of these girls turn out to be okay.
Well, because, dude, my thing that I want to do is find a really hot chick.
And then make her maul Stephanie.
Yes.
Yeah, I get it.
Want to do.
I get it.
But I couldn't find a hot one.
Right.
So I had, you know, 20 or 30 singles on the fucking table waiting. Just waiting for a good one to get them to come over and maul Steph.
And what happens when she comes through the curtain? There's a good one. Get her.
I would have.
There's a good one.
Absolutely would have. But I know
it's almost like judging cattle at a 4-H show. Look at the haunches on that one.
Exactly. Look at the udders on that bitch.
Yeah, get her. I think I'll take that one.
Yeah. She got some cans. Bring her on. But no, so I just decided, you know what? Fuck it. I'll suck it up. I'll take the $200 hit on the fucking card
Sure.
and order the drinks.
Right.
Because I have, a few thousand in my account or whatever. So it's like $200. It's not going to kill me. So I was like, fine. So I order a round of drinks. Chick brings back the drinks. I hand her the credit card. She goes through this whole thing about the fucking $200 fucking hold on the card again. So I'm like, okay, go ahead. I don't care. Whatever. Which, again, makes me not be in a good mood.
Right.
She walks away, comes back a minute later and goes, sorry, sir, can't charge it on your card. There's a $50 minimum. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, there's a $50 minimum. But if you want, I can bring you back $34 in fucking whatever, Christie's money. Christie's dollars.
Yeah. It's stripper money.
Yeah. And I was like, that's not what I want. You're already holding me up for $200 fucking dollars. Give me my drinks and charge me $15.
Right.
No, we can't do that.
$50 minimum.
$50 minimum.
Yeah, well, obviously they're having a hard time making ends meet, so they got to come up with all these scams in order to get people to leave money laying on the table.
Well, it didn't work because I literally took the fucking dollars off my table, said fuck these lap dances, and fucking threw it to her to get her to fucking get rid of this place. Drank our drinks, and so we had one more incident. So, as you can imagine, I'm just not in a great mood.
This has kind of ruined the whole night.
Yeah, this whole fucking phase has not been fun. I mean, it was fun shooting the shit and, joking around, but every time I had to fucking do anything or try to have some fun, it was a fucking problem.
Right.
So at some point, one of these chicks ends up on the stage. I'm going to call her fucking Amazon girl.
Okay.
Fucking big old Amazon black chick.
Okay.
Right? She's up on the stage. The worst dancer of them all. Honestly, it was like watching a girl in a bikini just walk back and forth.
Okay.
No moves, no sexiness, no shaking her ass, no bending over, no nothing. What is wrong with this microphone? Fuck. Probably doesn't even want to hear about this bitch.
So she's basically walking back and forth like she's in a fashion show runway.
Yeah, just walking back and forth. At one point, she got on her hands and knees on the other side to some guy that must have been, Graham Bonnet's father. Some old ass man on the other side, and she just sat there, like put her ass in the guy's face, but didn't move.
Okay.
You know how sometimes the chicks will do that shit where they fucking shake their ass or whatever?
Sure.
Or fucking flex their pussy or whatever?
Right.
She literally just was kind of like on all fours just sitting there. So this guy could stare up her ass crack. It was fucking bizarre.
Okay.
And she wasn't doing anything. Well, at some point, though, she just stopped dead. Stopped moving completely, just sat there. And we're like, what the fuck? And all of a sudden she points over at me and Adam. And we're like, what the fuck?
It's like, all right. And?
Yeah. And so then the security guy comes over and grabs Adam and goes, you need to come with me. And we're like, oh, Jesus. And I'm trying to think, did he say something fucking racial or did I? Or, I don't know what's going on.
Why? Were you guys hooting and hollering or something?
No, we weren't. But maybe she heard him say a fucking racist comment or something.
Did he make a racist comment?
Not that I heard.
Okay.
And no. I mean, it turns out no. But I didn't know why they were stopping and pulling him off.
Okay.
So they pull him out. He goes out for 2 or 3, 4 minutes, whatever. I'm looking at Steph, and I'm like, what happened? And she's like, I don't know. We didn't know what was going on. Well, then the guy comes back in with the security guy, and the security guy goes, let me see all of your phones. And we're like, what?
Okay.
And he's like, has us leafing through our photos.
All right.
Because apparently they thought that we took a picture.
Oh, okay.
And God forbid you take a picture of a stripper.
So did anybody take a picture?
Well, it wasn't me.
Well, how about your group?
There was one picture that was taken, but we didn't realize it. And fucking Adam took, fucking left his flash on when he took his picture with his phone.
Okay.
I don't know why he was taking a picture of this one. Of all the chicks in the room, this was not the one to take the picture with.
Well, maybe he had jungle fever or something.
Maybe. But, you know, we basically got out of it. You know how it is with the phones. The fucking security guy doesn't know how to work the phone.
Sure.
So you just push a couple buttons and say, look, see, there's no photo. And then he fucking went away.
Right.
But, you know, needless to say, though, I was the fucking most guilty looking, though. Because what do I have on my phone?
Yeah, you get the angel of death.
The angel of death phone.
Right.
So I'm like trying to weed through like my last 5 pictures only.
Wow.
Because I can't go. I really only have about 15 pictures on my phone, and like 7 of them are angel of death.
Sure.
So I'm like, man, if I go back there, he's going to so think it was me.
Right.
But it's just kind of the culminating end of what was just a bad run.
Yeah, just kind of a sucky night.
Yeah, it just sucked. So we ended up, by this point, it was probably 2 a.m. or whatever. So we just fucking packed it up and went back to Adam's place and hung out and, you know, shot the shit until 5:30 or 6 or something.
Right.
And then I crashed on his couch for a couple hours and I came home.
Isn't that a great feeling to know that you can just crash out and then go home when you feel like it?
Yeah.
And not like, where were you? What were you doing out all night? You were probably at some strip club with some whores.
Yeah, I was. I really was.
No, you went home. You said, man, I had a kind of a decent night. It was fun hanging with my friends.
Yeah, that was it.
I'm going to take a nap, you know, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. You know. But yeah, that was my night last night. Not such a fun night, but still, as always, there's always stories.
Sure.
It's craziness.
Well, a girl who's not so flat.
Yes.
Veronica from Benedictum.
Oh boy, is she not ever.
It's time to call her.
Let's give our lovely V, as in Veronica, a call.
The V.
The V.
Well,
dude, be honest. When she says, just call me V, you're like, okay. I'd like yodel in your V.
Right.
That's a hot chick.
Well, apparently Benedictum is working on a new record.
Yeah, they are.
And she reached out to you this week.
She did.
For what reason? I mean, how did she hit you up on the Facebook or email?
On Facebook, yeah, on the Facebook. She just saw me on. She's like, hey, love, how are you?
Yeah.
You know how she is.
Yeah.
You know, like we talked about, she's the queen of it, even more than me with the honey pumpkin love.
Yeah, sweetie.
She's
right.
all about that.
Sure she is.
And she's like, hey, love, how are you?
Right.
And I just started shooting the shit with her, and you know, we were talking a little bit about my divorce, and she's like, "Oh, you must be kid in the candy store, right?"
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I need a V-pop.
Right, a V-pop, nice.
But yeah, no, we just shot the shit for a little while, and you know, I reminded her that you know she's always welcome to do the show, and she's like, "Well, I got a lot of shit going on. I'd really like to do the show." And I'm going to be hanging with Graham Bonnet this weekend.
Okay.
Would it be cool if we just called him from Graham's house? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking Graham Bonnet, not fucking, you know, the drummer from some band I've never heard of.
Right.
It is the singer of, Alcatraz and Rainbow. And
sure.
Yeah, he's welcome. You know, so she said that she wanted to do that this weekend and, you know, just kind of catch up, and she loves doing our show, dude.
Well, she's had carte blanche over the last 6 years.
Yeah, she's always welcome, man.
So that'll be fun. All right, well, let me get her on the phone.
All right.
And we'll find out what the lovely V is up to.
All right.
So is there a tune you would like me to play?
Well, you already played my favorite one, which would be Bang. So let me think here. What's a good one? I know what would be a good one, dude. Why don't we go with Mob Rules, the Black Sabbath tune?
Okay.
Just because Veronica fucking kills it with that fucking intro to that song. Right?
Sure.
Wow, come on.
Right.
I like that.
All right. Well, we'll do something from the Benedictum, their debut release. Uncreation, and they do a couple kick-ass Black Sabbath covers. If you haven't heard this CD, pick it up. You'll really like it. They do Heaven and Hell and The Mob Rules. So here's Benedictum with The Mob Rules. We'll be back with the lovely Veronica Freeman and Graham Bonnet. It's Benedictum exclusively here
on your classic metal show. Show.